So now that we've calculated the capital series, we can now calculate the TFP series. TFP stands for Total Factor Productivity. But first we need to collect some data because we need to collect data on working age population and employment. We need to know LT and NT. Okay? So let me do that here. That's going to be found under labor force statistics, annual labor force statistics. So again, I'm going to select the US. And under subjects, there's a lot of interesting data here. What I need to look at is population that's between 15 and 64. And this 000 just denotes that the units are 1000s. Okay? And I also need total employment. I don't want the index. I want the actual number of employees. And this apostrophe 000 also denotes that the units are in 1000s. Okay? So now I have what I need. I have employment and I have working age population. I go to time and frequency. So from 1970 to the latest available data. And again, I want to pivot dimensions. I want to put time on the y-axis. Okay, and the subject in the x-axis, and view data. Alright, so now I have the working age population and total employment for the United States from 1970 to 2009. And we're going to export that using Export Excel. Export. Open. Okay, so now I have the working age population and the employment. Zoom in a little bit, you guys can see. So this is the growth accounting spreadsheet that I have on my website. So here it's just redoing what I did in part A. So this is constructing the capital series, so this is already done. I just need to copy and paste the working age population and employment here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the working age population and employment, and I'm going to paste that there, paste values. Oh, that one. Good question. So if I click Control Shift at the same time and then I hit down, that goes all the way down. Okay. Alright, and here is where the growth accounting is. So this column is easy. This is Y over N. So N is working age population. So this is how much, on average, does the working age population produce in output? Okay, so what does this cell look like? It's taking the blue cell, which is GDP, it's dividing it by the working age population. Okay, let's first do the capital output ratio. Okay, so the capital output ratio is you take capital, you divide it by GDP, and then there's some exponent here. Okay, and that looks a little bit funny, but it's actually right here. It's KT over YT, alpha to the alpha over 1 minus alpha. Okay? And then this one, L over N, that's just employment divided by the working age population. So you just take the blue cell, which is employment, and you divide it by the green cell, which is working age population. Okay? And then from there, you just take output, or the blue cell, this is GDP, and you're dividing it by the capital output ratio and the employment participation ratio to get TFP. Okay? So this is basically your growth accounting. So these numbers are a little bit hard to interpret. So what we do is we transform them into indices. So these are all have been indiced, normalized to 100 for 1970, and then you can kind of track the growth from there. Okay. So the green line is the capital output ratio. You see that that is rather flat over time. It's increasing a little bit, but it's pretty flat. The purple line is the employment participation rate. So that one is increasing a little bit because you see a rise in female labor participation rates over that time. So you do see a rise. You can see that the GDP per working age population is increasing, and a lot of that, where's that coming from? It's coming from in the red line, which is the total factor of productivity. So when you look at countries that are expanding over time, this kind of framework allows you to look at it and say, hey, where is that growth coming from? Is it coming from people working harder? Is it coming from there being more capital in the economy? Or is it coming from TFP? Okay, and you're able to look at this, all right? So you guys, can look at, Japan or China, if you can find the data, or Korea, Brazil, Argentina, France. You can look at all these different countries, look at their growth episodes, and see where all that growth is coming from. So this is like a very, very powerful analytical tool where you can analyze this data. Okay, so I'm going to conclude here. I'll see you guys on Friday.